What's up, everybody? Before we get into this very fun episode with everyone's favorite Impractical Joker, Joe Gatto, what a fun interview. Here are my dates coming up. Come see me live, Austin, Texas, November 11th and 12th. Detroit, Michigan, December 1st and 3rd, between 1st and 3rd. And then Chicago, February 24th and 26th. Also, Tampa's added, Atlantic City and Emos. Pennsylvania? I don't know where that is, but Emaus Theater on March 4th as well. These will all be going up on my websites. Also San Diego, also Providence. More dates coming. So go to YannisPappasComedy.com for tickets. Patreon.com/Yanni Longdays for our weekly bonus episodes. Join up and enjoy the episode.
Yannis Pappas. Yeah. When you all tucked up in the day belong, and the news online going on and on, what's right and wrong, and there's something up. Now here comes a great kid you know you can trust. From the true who's who, to the news and cameras, to the fake politics and the propaganda. Yeah, this kid's screwed in, got a lot to say. Oh shit, it's about to be a long day. It's a long day, it's a long day coming, it's a long day.
You better stop eating.
No, you kid. I mean, listen.
Start whenever you want.
You see this apartment. This is a pretty.
It's our brand.
This isn't a true TV production here. This is a
I
self.
ate more on TV than I think that I did. Not. I was always eating.
This is the most cable, old school, cable. What was it? What was that channel called? That what's her name was on? Baby wanna bang your box.
Wow, you were watching different TV than I was, pal.
Yeah. Her name was Robin.
You talking about the Magic Garden? Like PBS? Or is that
No, it was cable access.
Oh, okay.
And her name was like Robin something, and she was like this 60-year-old woman who like did this sex show.
Really?
Yeah, you never saw it?
No.
Staten Island, you guys are in another country.
We are. Well, we had our own cable network
Yeah,
going on where we were doing some different things. How to hide a body in the green belt. You know, we had our own stuff.
Yeah, like it probably you guys just watch the Italian channels there.
Yeah, pretty much.
Italian
everybody-
soccer on.
Just tell you, it's Fangool, the Fangool channel.
Yeah.
We did. I mean, I haven't been to Brooklyn in a minute, and coming to see you, I remember like everything is just there is so much that really is just so Brooklyn, which is great. Like I was a little bit late because I was stuck behind a guy who decided just to park at a red light. He threw his flashes on, which was nice of him, but he didn't even make an effort to go sideways. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, oh, I thought he was in the car, but he wasn't. He was like delivering food or something. And then to my right, directly to my right, there was a Tesla, beautiful Tesla parked, and right behind it was just a water heater that somebody had thrown out, like behind the Tesla. And I'm like, this is just so very, very Brooklyn. I love it.
Yeah, well, you know, Bay Ridge is like it's kind of like the city for a lot of Staten Island people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like because they come over to Verrazano, and then they go out to a lot of these Italian restaurants.
Yeah,
and then they valet your car, which is funny because there's no parking lots here. But I think Staten Island people, you guys are like the suburbs of the city.
for sure.
Like even you called and you were like, "Is there parking?" Like you were.
Well, I know Bay Ridge because I had spent a lot of time here, and I know it's a nightmare to park around here. You're like, there's plenty of spots. It's not. But
Are you skeptical when I said that?
No, I'm a realist.
Was it tough to find one?
There's never plenty, but not a couple laps. I'm okay. I'm normally pretty good. I don't like walking uphill though.
Yeah.
So there was like you got a big hill up
Yeah.
over here. You didn't warn me about that.
Why don't you mind? Why do you care?
Well, look at me, my center of
You look
gravity.
pretty good, man.
I wear black and I blouse.
Yeah.
These chairs do no one favors. If you've watched all your podcasts, everyone sits the way you're sitting to cover up what's going on.
Yeah, no,
you have no choice. They lean back,
Yeah.
and you have to like do it like this.
This is not a flattering seat, and plus this one's broken, so I'm not like I didn't like. It looks like I engineered it like a cholo, but it's not. It's just that I'm so fat that I broke the back.
Oh,
So,
all right, yeah, it's good
I'm
though.
deceptively fat. I'm deceptively fat.
I don't think it's as hidden as you think.
You're like actually it's you know
It's right on spot. No.
dude. If you're a magician, I can see the strengths.
No, but you're a bigger dude though, like meaning frame wise. So it doesn't like I have like a skinny frame, so it all goes to my belly. I'm like a capital D.
Yeah.
Like my body is like it's all right in my belly. That's all I carry it.
Yeah, but it's appropriate. You carry it good.
Yeah, but you get to spread it out, which is the benefit.
Yeah, I spread it out a little bit. I'm a thick. Yeah, but my frame is actually small. It's just like it's actually fat all over me.
It's well padded.
Yeah, it just
it's a well padded
it
frame.
distribute. Yeah, I take a meat cleaver and I push it down like a chicken cutlet.
Hey, look, we like to eat. That's what it is. That's it.
We do like to eat. We're Greeks. You brought some cookies. That was
brought
very
some,
nice.
Yeah, I brought some desserts. I don't want to come empty-handed.
That's amazing, man. That's an Italian thing, right? Like you just like.
Yeah, you're a guest. You know.
He's the only one who brought anything.
That's the only one. Yeah. He's also the only Italian from Staten Island. I mean, that's like, you know, that's
So
class.
That's a specific thing. Yeah, it's class. You know,
class.
I almost brought an Entenmann's, but I don't know you like that.
Dude, if you would have brought an Entenmann's, I would have had to rechristen my daughter or something. Been like, we got to throw an occasion. These cookies are too good.
For
Yeah.
sure. The crumb is what I go for that. You know, the crumb cake from them is just a square box crumb. Down the street from me in Staten Island, there was an Entenmann's bakery outlet. Like, you know, they had those outlets that like basically stuff that went bad and has like another week and they get it for a deep discount. Yeah. My dad would come home and he'd break me off like, hey, get your bike, go up the street, get us an Entenmann's. You know, we're celebrating and I would go get a, you know, your Aunt Ruth's coming over here. He'd hit me with like a 20 spot. We go up there. I'd be like a king, man.
On the scale of Italian, like, how Italian is your family? Are we talking like sauce on Sundays? Are we talking
Gravy
like
on Sundays.
Are you still in your mom's basement? I mean,
I was till my early 30s. Yeah.
I heard until about season 6. You were still in the house.
I mean, you got to say this God. You know what I mean? You know, it's a nice thing. No, I came from a very Italian family. I'm the youngest of 15 grandkids, and I'm the bridge to like there's like 26 great grandkids from my grandparents.
Wow.
So it's like a big Italian family, all the holidays and stuff. Pretty tight with my, you know, very tight with my sisters, pretty tight with all my cousins. You know, we see them at least twice a year. We have a big family reunion every year.
Yeah.
That, you know, 60 to 75 Italians all jump in the pool and hang out.
Above ground pool or
No, in the ground.
It's in the ground,
yeah. It depends whose house it's at, but for the most part, it's at. I hosted it one year, which was fun. But it's like, you know, it's very, very tight, always eating. You know, I try to see everybody at the holidays, go see, you know, go to my Uncle Lino's house, go down his basement in Staten Island, which is like right out of the 70s, like still wood paneling, nothing's changed.
Yeah.
Still got the 8-track player with the tape deck, like all the technology is just stacked on top of each other.
Yeah.
And he's still got like the vinyl, he's got the 8-track, he's got the cassette player, a CD player, they're all just together, like in the wall.
Is that in Staten Island?
That's in Staten Island.
Yeah, Staten Island and Long Island, not a big fan of change.
No, I'm the only on Long Island because my sister moved out to Long Island.
Wait, you went from Staten Island to Long Island?
Yeah, you either go there or you go to Jersey.
Yeah,
you
that's
make a left or a right.
Yeah.
That's it. It's like which traffic do you want to sit in, Hamptons or Jersey Shore? What are you feeling?
Yeah.
You know, so
was your parents happier about you being on TV or you moving to Long Island?
My dad unfortunately didn't see me till TV. He passed away when I was 19. You didn't do it, cancer. And my mother got through season 1. She saw me season 1, and then we lost her right before season 2 happened. But she was like a peacock for just me being on season 1. Like I can't even imagine if she had seen. She would probably be obnoxious. Like she would tell everybody, "It's my son." It's my son. I'm like, Mom, I'm just like, I'm at the grocery store.
Right.
It's my son. You just, please, show him where the brawny toilet paper is, please.
Something happened in Staten Island because there's a whole crop of people who are like really funny who got really big out of Staten Island.
Yeah, it's just like a sampling. Of
it was like the
yeah.
Jokers, then you had the Jost brothers, and then now you got P.D. Davidson.
Yeah, it was something. That must have been something in the water.
Something in the water.
It's the Ohio of New York, I guess.
Or it could be just like the fumes from Elizabeth, New Jersey coming over.
Coming through, right?
Yeah, you really got to walk through a fart. You got to drive. You really got to drive through a fart to get to Staten Island.
For sure. And to get into it used to be a worse fart when we had the landfill. But when the bridge was built, like my aunts and uncle, my mother is from Bay Ridge,
right?
Avenue T, Stewell Avenue is around there, so
yeah.
she was on, and when they built the bridge, my mother and grandmother still talked about it. It was like, oh, when they built the bridge, everything changed. The Verrazano, right?
Yeah.
When they built the bridge, everything changed, you know, because it was only the ferry to get in. It became the bedroom of Manhattan, like my mother used to call it, and my grandmother. But my father, my grandfather ran a tuxedo shop on Staten Island. And when they opened the Verrazano Bridge, he provided the mayor and the people in the car, his car.
Wow.
It was the first car to drive over the Verrazano.
Wow.
He provided the tuxedos.
Wow.
To them, Gatto's tuxedos it was.
That's
And
prestigious.
That was I literally rode those coattails for a long time. I was like, well, you know, we're tuxedo people.
So he measured them up and everything?
Measured them up and everything, provided, got a photo with them. Yeah. He tried to get in the front car and they wouldn't let him go in it because there was only 4 people. Like, you're just a tuxedo guy. Like, take it easy. We're going to have like the mayor. Right. He's like, well, the mayor could walk behind the car.
That's nice. Yeah. I mean, the Verrazano, it's underrated. Mm-hmm. I think the Verrazano is actually bigger than the Golden Gate Bridge.
It is longest suspension bridge in America.
They tell you that when you're young, right?
It's one of the questions on your like to get your diploma from high school.
It's a big deal. The Verrazano's a big deal for Staten Islanders, right?
It is.
Yeah, I think you guys do a good job of keeping people out with what is it, like $25 to enter?
Yes, it's a kidney. You throw a kidney in the basket to get through. It's
they
crazy.
charge you to enter Staten Island like it's like a cover charge at a club.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
Yeah, and meanwhile the ferry is free,
Yeah.
which is crazy, right?
It doesn't make sense.
It means we like the Manhattan people, but the Brooklyn people have to pay.
Yeah.
I guess that's. I mean, if you read between the lines, it seems like some sort of thing. I don't know.
Now, are you more the Let's Join Jersey crew, or are you more on board with NYC? Do you like being a borough? Would you like to be,
Well, I mean, I'm not there anymore, so I don't really care anymore. But when I was there, like the secession thing was happening, like the big vote and all that. And I remember that happening, and I was like, I didn't really care. I think people just didn't want the garbage. Right. Like that kind of just went away when they took away the landfill.
That's right.
Because we were getting everybody's garbage. So once the landfill went away, I was like, oh, okay, we're good.
Yeah,
I think I think they were just shaking the pans to make some noise for that.
And that gave Staten Island like a really bad rap. That like if you weren't from Staten Island, everyone was like, oh, isn't that where they put the garbage? And you were like, hey, and the Italians go, did you just call me fucking garbage? Because I got a family there. Yeah.
It's the greenest though. I mean, it's got the most protected parks in all of New York.
Yeah, it's actually Staten Island. You got to go to see it, and then you realize it's a beautiful place.
Well, yeah, I mean, growing up there was very neighborhood, which was good.
Yeah,
which I liked. It was basically like Brooklyn with yards. Everybody was still in everybody's business, but everybody had a yard to play in instead of being on the streets. You still had everybody's grandmother looking out the window, except they were looking at the yards, the back window instead of the front street.
Yeah. What part of the island are you on? My wife's from the island.
I'm from the hood. I was from Mariners Harbor near the Goethals Bridge.
No, I'm talking about Long Island.
Long Island.
I said on the island. On the island. Yeah, because you came from in the island, and now you're on it. Yeah.
I went in and on. I had to change my preposition.
Yeah.
I did the. Right now, I'm out on Glenhead.
Glenhead. He's from Long Island. You know it?
Yeah.
Which is near like Glen Cove.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm from Amityville.
Oh, Amityville. I lived in Lynbrook for a minute.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is not far from there.
Yeah. My wife's from Melville.
Oh, Melville.
Yeah.
Oh, fancy.
Everyone says that.
Fancy.
Yeah.
It is.
Melville,
It's fancy, right?
Anything ends in Ville, it's got to be.
Yeah.
Meltown. Now that shit.
Yeah.
You're from the Ville.
Yeah.
Nice.
Villes are nice. Yeah. I'm getting familiar with Long Island. I get familiar. It's by the Walt Whitman Wall.
Yes. Very nice mall.
Yeah.
Great deals at the Walt Whitman.
Who's got better food, you think, Staten or Long? It's a tough one because Italians are on both.
Oh, Italians are on both.
Both still got
Both
Italian
great
waiters
pizzas.
with you can get a.
You still got somebody in their class A. They're in the tuxedos. You know
Yes.
how I love a tuxedo. We
Yeah.
spoke.
Did your father outfit any Greeks at diners?
No, but I loved Mike Slovaki King in Staten Island. That was my jam. I used to go. That was my diner, Mike Slovaki King. It was a diner in Staten Island that was always open late, and we used to go either there. It would be there or the Golden Dove.
Yeah.
Those are my two diners.
Golden Dove Diner.
Yeah.
That's a real good diner name right there.
The Golden Dove. They closed it not too long ago. I think it was like a landmark.
Yeah.
It's been there so long.
Because when we were growing up, like the Greek waiters they'd wear suits. They'd have like a suit on. Yeah. And all the Italian restaurants, suits. Like there's very few of those still left like in the other boroughs. But I know Long Island still, I go to them with my father-in-law and the family, and they still have them.
I feel like the diner game is run by the Greeks. A good diner is a
dude.
Greek diner. I don't know any diners that aren't Greek waiters and owners and run it. Yeah,
We run it. I mean, yeah. If they were more important, there'd be conspiracy theories about the Greeks like the Jews. But nobody cares about diners.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. I mean, as long as I can get a good soup, I get a good soup and a sandwich, I'm all right.
Yeah.
What's your go-to diner, late night diner?
Well, over here, I don't want to badmouth anything in Bay Ridge, but they could really up the quality of the Bridgeview Diner. I got to say that.
Oh, no, I meant your order. Like, what were you
Oh,
going
my
like?
order?
Yeah,
Oh,
what
you
run?
always go cheeseburger or eggs. I mean, I'm not trying to put my own life in my own hands. I mean, you crazy?
Well, you're deceivably skinny for a guy that grows a burger and eggs at 2
Yeah,
a.m.
I know. I mean, if you're going into the middle of the menu of a Greek diner, you're gambling.
Yeah, it is.
It's like gambling with your kid's college tuition.
Page 3.
I mean, don't get the scallops at 2 in the morning
No,
at a
don't
diner.
go north of page 3. You go to the seafood section, you're in trouble.
Yeah, they didn't just pull those out of the Chesapeake Bay. Those have been sitting in a fucking basement freezer for months.
For sure.
Yeah, it's funny. I love how the Greek diner will go like $6.95, and then everything $8.95 deluxe, and then
Deluxe. They love a deluxe.
They love a deluxe.
Yeah, that means it's a slice of tomato and you get a grilled
everything.
onion.
You give you a green card and it's his fries. Anything. The menu's like 800 pages. Yeah. But I love how the jump in price from the eggs and the burger goes from like $8.95, and then you go in the middle, it's like $47 for a swordfish. You're like, what the fuck? You're like, that's the same price as like a fancy restaurant.
That's crazy, yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's a little fresher there. But yeah, I'm a big fan of the Greek diner. Of course, my grandfather. That's how it's like.
Is that where you guys made your money?
That's where we made our money. Yeah, that's how. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the Greek passport into America. I mean, like that's everybody. You come through the diners. You come through the diner. Like the one guy comes out, then he brings his brother. That's what my grandfather did. At one point, my grandfather had the biggest diner in all the 5 boroughs.
Really?
It's called the Normandy Diner on the West Side Highway.
Oh, wow.
Where like the docks used to be active, and before that he had one in Red Hook at the docks. And Albert Anastasia's brother used to shake him down.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. My dad would tell me because my dad would work in the restaurant, and he told me that Albert Anastasia's brother would just show up. That was his area, and my grandfather would just get in the car and just give him an envelope. And it wasn't seen. The interesting thing, and this is, I got to give props to the Italians.
Yep.
You knew a little bit what they were doing. They knew what they were doing a little bit. It wasn't seen as like a payoff as much as like a part of how the system worked.
Community.
Yeah, and like it was, everything was cash then, so you needed.
100%.
It was like someone was going to knock you off.
Yeah.
So it was almost like you paid them for security.
Yeah, my grandfather ran he had the biggest tomato business in New York.
Right.
He Models Tomatoes Brothers.
Yeah.
And he was same sort of deal. Him, my uncle Nino that we spoke of with the basement, my uncle Vinny, they all ran this big tomato market there, and he was supplying basically all the food. Places, all the diners and all that stuff, and cash, hand over fist. He would just have cash, and every time they would come over, they'd look how much he have, and they said, "Okay, how much is it?" He told us a story. He's like, "How much is it worth to protect this for you?"
Right,
And he's like, "Well, 10%, whatever." And he would just bust them off, and sometimes the envelope would be bigger, but that's how my grandfather kept his money.
Yeah.
Nobody came and bugged him. It wasn't even like they were going to knock him off. They would just know that somebody else was
So
going to.
yeah, it was kind of like
They're on the West Side Highway at 4 a.m.
You can't rely on the cops necessarily, and I mean it's one of those gray areas. Yes, you're getting robbed, but also nobody else is going to rob you.
You're getting robbed how much you want to give.
Yeah.
It's more like a charitable donation. This is before the 501c3s.
Yeah. You know what I love about Italians? Italians can be really tough, right? Mm-hmm. But they get real sensitive about produce.
Oh, produce is very
Yeah,
good.
they go, look, I'll fucking break your neck, but take a look at these tomatoes.
Yeah.
I got the best one.
You see
These
these
are
gala
right.
apples?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
jeez.
these Jersey
Jesus
tomatoes.
Christ, these Jersey. Look, they got a plump tomato here. It's on the vine. It's on the vine. Look at it. Smell the vine. Smell that vine. That's how you pick produce. I know how to pick produce because of my grandfather so well. I smell the vine. I push the button. I knock on the watermelon. I do the whole thing.
You caress them, right?
Oh, man, I'm there for hours.
Right.
People start looking at me funny.
Yeah.
It's like pick a cantaloupe, pal.
Yeah.
I'm like, you don't tell me how to pick my cantaloupes.
You almost could see Italians in the supermarket when people pick their produce quick. You could almost see Italians going, "It's a fucking shame.
Yeah, disgust.
It's a shame. Take your time."
I judge. If you don't do a lot, if you're not grabbing 3 to 5 tomatoes, you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
If you're doing a first pull, if you're grabbing a first tomato, get out of my supermarket. Oh, very good. Get rid of this shit. If you're not giving it a squeeze, and if you're grabbing from the top, please.
Yeah.
Don't even, see, you're right. You fucking got me started. You got me started because if you grab from the top, that's what the new one's coming out. The ripe ones, you got to go under. You gotta go under.
But is it? Yeah, but you're kind of like you're touching a lot of like tomatoes. It's kind of. I guess you got to do what you got to do to get the good ones.
You got to do what you got to do.
You got to do what you got to do.
You got to fight those battles.
But what if you're thinking like somebody else before you came and did that and moved?
Yeah.
Took the ones at the bottom and now the ones at the top, which they're in the bottom now.
Right. You got to.
Can you tell? Can you tell?
Colorway, right? You got to look. You got to look around the stem. If there's green around the stem, right in that little top circle, the crown. If you will.
Right.
Yeah, you got to take a look down. You got to make sure you're all red.
Yeah.
All red there. Otherwise, I'm not touching that tomato. Not touching that tomato.
Sherlock Holmes of produce.
I'm telling you, yeah. If you need help, Jack, you need help with produce. We'll go shopping right after this. We'll go right down to Fifth Ave. We'll work it out.
No, Italians, it's business. It's business.
Yeah.
It's like it's top level business.
It's funny because there's really truth to it. Like when you come home with an unripe honeydew.
yeah.
I mean, you and our friendship's over.
Yeah.
Like, if I open up that honeydew and it's like, it doesn't, if you do that and you hear, it sounds like a saw.
Yeah.
And if there's not juice spilling out of it,
Yeah.
you're an asshole.
Yeah, no.
You're an absolute, you've gotten robbed.
Yeah, Italian. You guys have very high standards for food, and I think I would say it's unquestionably the best cuisine. I don't think anyone who argues. I think it's sort of like saying Jordan's not the best basketball player. I'm going like,
Right.
Let's go over the stats.
Yeah.
I mean, we got Ziti. I mean, the list goes on.
It goes on.
I mean-
and I will say that it's, people could always find something they like on that menu.
Yeah.
Very easily.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So I think it's very, broad in
Right.
that sense.
Right. Yeah. I could have it every night.
Yeah.
I could do Italian every single
I
night.
pretty much do.
Yeah. Now, how Catholic are you?
What's that?
Religion.
Oh, religion.
Yeah.
Uh,
Did you grow up big time Catholic?
I grew up BTC, but then I stopped big time Catholic.
Right.
Then I stopped hard.
Right.
I hit the brakes on it.
That happens a lot.
I was altar boy and going to be priest.
Wow.
Yeah, I did that whole thing.
Wow.
Yeah. And then when my
You took a big left turn
Yeah,
from the church to improv.
to improv, yeah. Well, I was doing a lot of Catholic improv.
Right.
I was doing it in an all-boy Catholic high school I went to. You know, on Senior Farrell in Staten Island was all-boy Catholic. That's where we met, all-boy Catholic high school. And I was considering the cloth.
Right.
And then when my father passed away, we stopped going to church as much. Not I wasn't angry at God, nothing like that, but I was kind of like, oh, I got older and I started looking at it. And then the big thing for me was I don't believe in the middleman. I don't believe in the priest. I don't believe like somebody could do that for you. Like I didn't really get on board with that. I love the morals. I love all that stuff, good, bad, evil, whatever. But I was like, that piece of it didn't make sense for me.
Right.
Because I started looking at it all and I was like, it doesn't make sense. But I still appreciate the morality you get from religion and all that. Like, you know, my kid's mother is Muslim and I'm Italian and I'm a Catholic and both of us are not practicing.
Right.
So our kids kind of just like are growing up without like religion, but trying to teach value. So it's kind of interesting to
That's nice.
do. Yeah.
I think that's nice for them.
I think it is too.
religion-
They have questions now too, which is interesting because my son's like asking me, he's like, where's God?
Right.
And he says like that to me, and I'm like, well, that's the question, buddy.
Right. Right.
Where is he?
Right.
You know, so it gets a little interesting to not have that like book to pop out and be like, oh, this is everything that you need to know.
Right.
It's as long as you're teaching them to be good people.
It would be fun if you and your wife could make a fun thing where you do a competition though.
Yeah.
Where you go, look, the kids tabula rosa, we let them choose, but they can ask us both. You can present your case and I can present mine, and then they choose, and then you and her compete by saying which one's better.
We kind of do that a little bit with food because she'll present tabbouleh, and I'd be like, do you want a penne alla vodka?
Yeah.
So like, we do that, and my kids love tabbouleh, but nothing beats a good penne alla
No,
vodka.
it's tough. Penne alla vodka it's tough. Yeah, that's a tough one. And then you could just go down the list of the amenities.
Yeah.
You could go. I mean, Muslim, Catholic. I mean, they both got some decent amenities.
Yeah.
Well,
she grew up Lebanese, which has a big family component. Grandparents are super important in that family structure, just like Italians. You know, so that kind of thing. There's a lot of stuff that coincides.
right. But you guys are progressive. You guys are more progressive.
Yeah, I would
Secular.
I would say secular.
Yeah.
If I knew what that meant. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Don't be throwing
Opposite
big
of
words at me.
religious.
Yeah.
So you guys are at the Catholic school. The four you meet.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, freshman year.
Obviously, everybody. Did we even introduce? I mean, people know you. They're watching,
Well,
but we
at this point, I hope they do.
I mean, we didn't even
say who I was.
We didn't even do an intro. We just started rolling, baby. This is Joe Gatto from the Impractical Jokers, comedy, the Tenderloin, Staten Island, now Long Island.
You could just take that clip and put it all
put it in
in
the
the
beginning.
front,
Yeah.
and that would be fantastic. Because you're just coming from mid-conversation.
Yeah, this is like a Quentin Tarantino movie,
Yes.
where you got to you start at the end, you come back at the beginning.
The X point. We'll put it there before we get to the YZ.
Then we'll do a scene in the bathroom. I'll go, you're gonna beat your dick, and then you're gonna go home. You guys have been friends. You, Murr, Sal, and Q.
Yeah, 30
Now,
years.
Q's the only Irish one. Murray, what?
Murray's
Two
got
Irish.
too, yeah. I'm the only full breed Italian.
Oh,
And the
because
other ones-
Sal's got the
Sal's-
Cuban and
he's
Puerto
got
Rican.
he's got the sexy Latino.
That's what
piece.
I on the Jokers cruise. You guys do a lot of dancing and a lot of music,
Yep.
and you could tell.
Yeah.
You could tell Sal's got the only one with a little
Sexy gelatin.
Yeah, he's the only one. His moves match. He matches the music sometimes.
Yeah.
Your energy's big.
My energy's big.
Yeah.
I dance with confidence. I
Yes.
dance like I should know. I dance like I don't care what I look like, and it matches my like that's the energy I bring. It's like you dance. It's like you should not be as confident as you are, but I'm on board with it.
You
Like
do
I
it.
confuse them with it.
Yeah, you go. Yeah, you go. It looks a little bit like you were being burned by a car cigarette lighter.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And you know what? And that's my move. And you remembered it, so you're welcome.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. Yeah, Sal's smooth up there. And was there ever like a fifth Joker like the Beatles?
No, there was a fourth that Q replaced. So we had a drop off. Yeah, there was a Tenderloin that had gotten a good job and got married and grew up faster than the rest of us, I guess. And he had to make a decision because his time was too valuable to, he got a big PR firm job. Good friend of ours, Mike, still friend of ours, great guy. And he fell out, and then that left us an opening, and Q came in.
Yeah.
And this was during the turning point when we started doing sketch comedy online.
And was Q a friend from high school too?
100%, yeah.
And he was a firefighter.
So
at the time.
there was really 5 of us from high school that were friends, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Q was a firefighter too?
Firefighter, yeah.
And so he kept being a firefighter while you guys were
For
doing
season 1 and 2, him and Sal, everybody kept their jobs. I was the only one that had to quit.
Right.
So I was doing baby store salesman. I was working for this company called Giggle,
Right.
which was high-end baby furniture. And I was slinging baby merch like nobody's business in Soho as a personal shopper.
Yeah.
I got moved over to the corporate side, and I was a training program manager. I opened new stores.
Yeah.
But because I was a good salesman, she'd cook the book. She'd send me for 3 weeks to where the stores open. I would crush it. She'd be like, look how good our store is doing in Pasadena, you know. So one of those, which was great. And so I was doing that, and then we had to film the pilot, so I had to take my 2 weeks vacation. Then they picked up the pilot, and they needed 6 months to shoot season 1. So I said, hey, I'm going to have to take a 6-month hiatus. And she goes, oh, so you're quitting? Yeah. I was like, no. I was like, I'll be back. She's like, well, I can't not have a training program manager for 6 months. She's like, so good luck to you. And if it doesn't work out, and if there's room for you, you're welcome back. And I was like, okay. So I quit my job and I was all in. But Murr was working for the production company that produced the show.
Right.
And Sal was a bartender. I know he owned a place in Staten Island. And Q was a firefighter. So Q would work his 24, come to set, do the show, go home for a day, then come back to the same thing. And then Sal would go. We'd film until he had to leave to go to work. He would go work overnight and then come the next day and stuff. So it was interesting that everybody kept their jobs for 2 years.
Yeah.
But I just jumped in, which made me really produce. Like, really, I was really involved. And all the way through the run of it, I was very involved with everything from writing the first joke to the final edit, you know?
Yeah.
And I love that part of it. So,
Yeah.
I always wanted to be a director
Yeah.
and screenwriter. So that really was like, oh, I get to do this.
Yeah.
Just fulfilling.
You guys should make a movie about the story of the show, like you guys. Like, you know what I mean? Like, your movie was great. I went to that too.
Yeah.
Me and Chris went to that.
Oh, yeah.
And that was fun. And, it was like the show.
Yep.
But you guys should do a movie about like
Like a documentary of about what we
yeah, or like write a movie about, because it's
The
such
making of the Jokers. Like,
yeah,
like
it's
the
such
offer.
a fun story.
Yeah.
Like, because you guys are just like, and I think that's what part of what endeared you so much to everybody is like, you guys are such humble, normal guys.
Well, I mean, it didn't click to us like with 34.
Yeah.
So you're the person you got to be. You know
Yeah,
what
I mean, how funny is that? Q's fucking, he's fighting fire. He's up there.
He's
going,
literally saving a guy.
Yeah.
And then we're like, oh, dude, tell her you farted. Like, like he literally pulling a man out of an burning elevator. True story. Like he got a medal for like saving a guy from an elevator.
Yeah.
Then he came to work the next day and he had to announce funny names in an office. Like, it's like, dude, what is... Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a job where he's got to carry, he's got to be able to carry his body weight plus 20, and he's going in.
And he's also a firefighter.
Yeah. And they go, hey, Q, how you doing? Yeah, you doing a shift tomorrow? Yeah, I'm cooking tomorrow. We're doing chicken franchise. And then he's going, okay, guys, I got to go do a little zip zap zoom.
Yeah, come back.
Did you guys warm up with any of the improv
We
games?
threw zip zap
Yeah,
zooms
zip
at
zap
each other.
zoom.
I mean, we're not above a zip zap zoom. I mean, all greats do. You're not going to tell them that we did it before we started this podcast?
Absolutely, we did. And we did wow. What was the other one? Wow.
Yep.
So how did you guys discover like that you guys all wanted to perform together? Like, because I know you guys all went to college.
Yeah. So we did improv comedy.
You got an accounting degree.
I got my accounting degree.
Sal got his degree in
Finance. Yep. He
and
was a
gifting.
business system analyst.
He's a good gifter.
He's a great gifter.
He's a great gifter.
He's one of the best. He's up there with Steve Byrne for me. Steve Byrne's
Oh,
the
Steve
other-
Byrne's a good one?
Oh, my God. Steve Byrne's the best gifter in the world.
Steve Byrne is a great guy.
He's a great dude. Yeah, he's the best. I've been working with him a lot now, which is really fun. And
You guys got a podcast.
we have a podcast together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Two cool moms, which is fun. Because we both had moms that gave great maternal advice, and we both feel like we captured that.
Right.
So we start off telling stories, and then we take fan-submitted dilemmas, and we solve them as best we can.
Yeah.
Sometimes it goes great. Sometimes it doesn't, but it's always funny.
Yeah.
So
And Steve is a hilarious stand-up. Steve, he had that show on TBS for a little while. Sullivan and
Yeah.
Son.
He does a lot of comedy specials. He's great. I actually just directed his latest comedy special for Amazon Prime.
That's so cool.
Yeah, which is really cool. It was a really fun
I
experience.
love that about this era now. Like friends can kind of collaborate on
love the
something, make it happen, go straight to the
I
fans.
mean, like this. Like I just love what you do. You make me laugh, and I just said, "Hey, you're great," and then you're like, "Hey, you want to come on? This is awesome."
Yeah, and I appreciated that very much. Thank you. But yeah, it is very cool. Like it's not a protracted process. It's not slow. You just kind of like, hey, yeah, you want to do it? Boom, 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 and it just kind of happens. You don't have to have like 100 meetings, and then
you put the the power to do it in the hands of the creatives instead of like the business part.
How loose was True TV with you guys as far as the ideas?
Pretty.
They were.
It took us a minute to get there, but once we got it, it was pretty. Like season, after you do season 4 or 5, it's kind of like, no, you shouldn't. And we're like, well, we're gonna try it,
Right.
And they're like, okay, and then it worked, and they're like, okay, so it was like that. But we got on board with the network exec really tightly, Simi, who was the guy who ran it there, and he was very. I always find it's easier, like if you collaborate with people instead of telling them what you're doing.
Yeah.
So we would talk to him a lot, and then if he had questions, his questions were normally pretty good. Like there's sometimes with anybody that it's a network person. A lot of times they just don't understand the comedy. It was more that he didn't understand what we were talking about.
Right.
So once you talk him through it, and you're as excited in there because they're not in the room, right? You're in the writers' room, you're dying laughing about this stupid idea. Like I remember one, it was like they made me a massage chair.
Yeah.
And that was the idea in the room. It was like, what if Joe was a massage chair?
Right.
And they were like, what happens? It's like, Joe's a massage chair. Yeah. And it's like, we were dying laughing at literally just that. So we sent it in, the punishment, Joe's a massage chair.
Yeah.
And he's like, what does this mean? It's like, I'm a massage chair.
Yeah.
And he goes, okay, so what happens? I'm like, well, I'm a chair.
Yeah.
And people come sit on me.
Yeah.
I'm a massage chair. And he was like, all right. And he's like, so what? And then we started being like, I was like, no, we don't think you're envisioning it correctly. This is what that. And he was like, oh, all right, I get it. And they just had to talk him through it.
Right.
And it ended up being one of
And was it a lot of it sometimes your guys' enthusiasm to kind of just convince them? Because that's I know you now a little bit. I know Sal. You guys are so enthusiastic, and like your friendship seems authentic, and you're like normal guys, and like I would just say yes to everything because like it's so easy to fall in love with all you guys.
Yeah.
And you guys are still all friends?
100%, yeah.
How the fuck did you do that? How did that happen? Like, especially as the show got bigger.
Well, I
like
think-
the Rolling Stones fucking hate each other. they just show up on stage and they just fucking.
We didn't have time. I didn't have time to. I don't think because with the touring and everything. Like, look, there was one time that we saw each other for 32 days straight.
Right.
Like every day for 32 days. Like think about that for a second. That's like a month. That's a 12th of the year we were together, like working or either doing promo or the cruise. It was like one of those where we were just all together. And if you can't be together, then you would end up just destroying each other.
Right.
So I think that was part of it. But it started with friendship. Like we were really friends. So it wasn't like a cast that got put together or people that didn't know each other's histories, who know each other's parents. We've been there for each other through a lot. So I think that helps. The baseline. I always say that the show was more about friendship than it was a comedy.
Yeah.
Watching four friends be friends. Like this is literally how I make these guys laugh.
Yeah.
I embarrass myself. I don't give a shit. I have fun.
Yeah.
And I make my friends laugh. And if I see them crack, I just keep digging until they crumble. And that's the way it is.
Yeah.
That's really what we did.
That's what really made it unique. And it was a massive hit. And I figured at one point maybe you'd go in and you'd have to say to True TV, like, do you guys want to sign a deal with us? Yeah. Do you want us to re-sign you? Because, your show was always on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They gave us a development deal, which we worked on for a little bit. I think the guys still have it, but, I'm not part of that business anymore. But they did like jump in and we had to, we saw so many changes at that network. Literally 4 presidents came, one show, 4 presidents came and went. So when somebody new comes in, they have to be like, oh, and like instead of being like, okay, this is what we're going to do to us, they'd be like, don't touch it. It's the one that's working.
Right.
So that kind of helped us, I think.
Right.
Where it was like, it works. Don't kill the golden goose. Let them do their thing, And people are kind of timid with it too, right? Because they're going to be like, what are they going to say to you? It's just 300th episode. They're going to be like, here's an idea.
Right.
It's like, they just kind of got out of the way. And we weren't dicks about it, but if they said something we didn't agree with, we'd be like, well, it's not really on brand for us.
Yeah,
we could talk to the brand more than a person that just started.
Yeah.
So it was
It's really not on brand for us. It's a good way to say. It's a very nice way to say fuck off.
Well, they would throw it back at you.
Yeah.
They would throw it back at you sometimes. They're like, is that really jokery? Like there was like a term that got thrown around for a while. Is that jokery? How do we make it jokery?
Right.
Like that was like joke. They made it when they make it an adjective, you're pretty safe.
Yeah. When they've created a word. Yeah. This is how successful it was because, you guys were like, what, 2010 or 11?
2011.
Till now, right? Yeah. So it was like that period, TV was still very, in the conversation. It still is. I'm not saying it's not, but back then as comedians, we were constantly pitching. I pitched to True TV a bunch of times. Yeah. And every show, they kind of brought up, how can we make this sort of a competition between you guys?
Right.
They tried to like jokerize it.
Yeah, yep, of course.
Every single
Well, for a
idea.
long time, they were trying to find a companion show for us.
Yeah.
Instead of just playing repeats of us.
Why didn't they just do like the girls' version of Ghostbusters? Why didn't they just get a couple of girls?
Because the magic of the show was that we were real
Yeah, but
friends.
Hollywood always fucks it up.
Yeah,
they
that's
could
true.
cast it
true.
and just take some girl named Janine. Take some
I think a lot of people tried it. Like MTV had a couple shows that were like
They tried to
basically
copy
kind
it?
of us.
Yeah.
And it was like us but not us, and
Yeah.
it just didn't didn't work. There was a lot of versions like that happened overseas.
Oh, they did it?
There's like,
I would love to see
there's
those.
like Belgium jokers.
Yeah.
Called like Das Fuckers. Yes, it was. The name of the show was Das Fuckers.
Das Fuckers.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was like crazy. There was a Lebanese version. There was like a bunch of different versions that just played everywhere.
What's up, y'all? We are brought to you by Mint Mobile. This is a good option for you here. Just hear this out, okay? If you hate your phone bill, Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15 a month. If you're on a budget, that's beautiful. They give you the best rate whether you're buying for one or a family. Mint families start at 2 lines, so you can combine with your family, right? With your significant other or your kid. All plans come with all the goods, right? Unlimited talk and text and high-speed data delivered on 5G, the largest 5G network. So you can use your own phone. You don't got to change anything with Mint Mobile plan with the Mint Mobile plan, and keep your same phone number. They do all of it along with all your existing contacts. Just switch over to Mint Mobile. Save money. Get premium wireless service starting at just, again, $15 a month. So right now, to get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month, and get the plan shipped to your door for free, this is a good deal. Go to mintmobile.com/fumes. That is mintmobile.com/fumes. Cut your wireless bill down to $15 a month right now at mintmobile.com/fumes. Why wouldn't you do this? It's just a great story, great success. It was a great run, and now you're on to stand-up and podcast, baby.
Yeah.
You're hitting the stages.
I'm
You're a
having a good time.
funny fucking dude. How do you like stand-up?
It was totally different. I have a respect for it because, like, when I did the live show with the guys, it was like you're 25% of the funny. There's 4 years. If something bombs, somebody will pick you up,
Yeah.
But to do an hour by yourself is definitely a challenge. And when I first started, I started in January, right? Because things happened in my life. I had to leave Jokers. It's like, okay, got to go. And now what am I doing? I got to put, bread on the table. I got a family to take care of, kids to take care of. So what am I doing? So I had to talk with my team, and they're like, well, you perform live. People will come out to see you. So why don't we start there? So my first show, I actually toured with Steve Byrne and a good friend of ours, Mark Jigarjian, who's a big comic here in New York. He's a friend of ours too. He's opened for us forever. He opened for us in MSG. He's a really good guy. So I know him a decade as well. So I was like, all right, come with me. I said, and we'll put a show. And then, like, tell me how I did, tell me, because your stand-ups I respect. This, Steve's been doing stand-up forever, and I respect their opinion. I find them both funny. And I did 35 minutes, and it felt really good. I was in Appleton, Wisconsin. They hid me in Appleton, Wisconsin.
Real diverse crowd.
Yeah, super. Yeah, the whitest, like, crowd. Like, it's like you jump in a bowl of milk and talk to marshmallows. Like, that's what it looks like. So I was like, I go and do the set, and I come off stage, and I said to Steve, I was like super nervous, but I had done my homework. I wanted to, like, do it right. And I said to Steve, and Steve was like, he's like, fuck you, man. He's like, fuck you. He's like, you're just fun to watch. You're just up there, you're talking from your heart. He's like, you got it. So then I just built my hour off of that, like telling different stories, different things. I'm really more like a storyteller than anything, like, and a little bit observation stuff, but I enjoy telling a story.
Yeah.
So.
Because you've been doing comedy for a long time. You've been performing for a long time.
Sure.
So I could see that it just kind of, that muscle's there. It's just
a different way to.
It's a different way to do it. Yeah.
It's like improv, sketch, television, movie, and it's like now I'm trying stand up. It's just a different feel, but it's a lot of fun, man.
Which do you like the best?
I'm honestly enjoying stand-up more than I thought I would.
Yeah.
I know it started out of necessity.
Yeah.
But then it quickly turned into something I was like, oh, this is really fun. I just love making people laugh. I just love doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just like to be in front of a crowd that's laughing, you have a theater full of people just, laughing and having a good time, especially now when everybody's life is shit for the most part. It's like, it's really good to be able to do that,
Yeah. And so you have to now it's interesting because, you guys... international. It was like you guys did the
UK,
O2 Arena
5 times,
everywhere you
great.
guys were going. 5
Dublin,
times?
5 times did the O2.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
The O2, and then Dublin we did it a couple times. So we did London and Ireland.
Yeah, and you did you were doing like stadiums. Like you were doing MSG, you did
MSG, the O2. Yeah, we did a lot of big things. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
Right. So that was my point. My point is now you got to kind of like
Yeah.
you're probably doing like small theaters and clubs.
I'm doing a
and
lot
stuff.
of the theaters we did before we started the arenas. So I'm
Right.
doing a lot of places I've played already
Right.
as part of the guys.
Right.
2,000 seaters, 1,500 to 2,000 seaters.
And does it feel it's just as enjoyable? I
It's
feel like
great,
you
man.
guys just everything's enjoyable.
Well, I had fun. Honestly, was more comfortable on a theater stage than I was at the comedy club because I did a bunch of comedy clubs to start. But it's a smaller space. They're right in front of you. Still good crowds and everything, but it was just I'd never done that. Never. I'd never been on a stand-up stage.
Right,
You know, besides maybe popping up with Burn somewhere or doing something like together, but like just never on the stage. So that was completely different. And then the first time I had my theater show, I was like, I got a little nervous, and then I realized how much room I have, and I'm very physical.
Right.
So it was just opened up. I was like, oh, all my jokes got punched up more just because I moved my body. I
Right.
had room to run and stop, or I did something. I was like, and I was just more comfortable. I was always been on theater stages, so I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So now I'm way more comfortable. I think it's reflected in my work. I think it's a good show now. Not that I just feel more proud of it, if that makes sense. It's like I'm putting on something that deserves to come out and see.
Yeah.
So it was good.
yeah, you could do. I mean, look at that. Look at that right there.
Yeah, that's MSG, right?
I mean, look at that, dog. You could Photoshop you guys out there and put Mariah Carey right in there.
I mean,
that's a Taylor Swift audience
yeah.
right
I
now.
think that might even be the O2. I'm not sure. No, this is MSG.
It's the
I
Garden.
mean, that's
Yeah.
wild,
Yeah.
dude. Look at that.
Yeah, the Garden was great. I mean, honestly, we played Radio City too, which was really, really amazing because that was the first time we played like New York proper, city proper. We did 2 shows there, and when we played Radio City, we walked out. And you know how many shows, like from being from New York, how many shows you've seen at Radio City, right? We walked out the stage, and all 4 of us like were completely choked up and couldn't say anything. So we stood there in silence as the crowd went nuts for like a minute, and everybody's just looking at each other. Like Sal's all filled up, we're sitting there like joking about. I think Sal was even full blown, ugly crying, and like we're all choked up and whatnot. And then somebody had to talk, and I just like said anything, or whatever, and then we were just off to the races, and it was great. But that was a big moment. That's probably one of my favorite. The O2 in London was crazy because you see it here in America, right? We go out and about and we do things. But then the first time we went over to London, we were arguably bigger over there because just the way people responded to us. It was like, what are you doing in my country? Like people get crazy. They're like, what are you doing in Pennsylvania?
Right.
Now, they're like, could you imagine? Like, what are you doing in Manchester?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
it's really weird. So that
It's
was
special, too, because you're not from there, and then you're coming over there.
those are people who have really just responded to your comedy
Yeah.
with no other tie to you besides the fact that you made them laugh.
Right,
Like,
right.
that's it.
Right.
Right, that's all they know about.
Yeah.
Here you get a New Yorker vibe. You get you see these 4 friends. Oh, they remind us of guys from high school.
Yeah.
We're very American. Like that. There, it's just like you literally did something that made them laugh, and they got hooked. So.
Yeah, I mean, you really exported the Staten Island accent out.
we did.
Yeah.
we tariffed it. And
Yeah, I
everything, too.
mean,
we got that back in.
I mean, you turn on that show, you're like, these guys are
Yes,
definitely
yeah.
from the boroughs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because Murray went to Georgetown, and we always talk about how he tried to lose his accent to sound smarter. And even sometimes on the show, you'll see him be like, gabagool. And it's like, Murray, it's gabagool. Come on. He's like trying to do.
Yeah, I was about to say, if we were going to go from most to least,
Most Staten Island to least.
yeah,
Staten Island?
most Staten Island accent to least, he would be on the bottom.
For sure.
Yeah, Q would be the third.
Oh, you think Q's third?
Yeah, I think it would be you and Sal for number 1 and 2. Yeah.
Me and Q normally get the 1 and 2 spots.
Really? Sal's very...
Well, Sal throws in, Sal, sometimes gets his Cuban on, and-
Yeah, but you
but
can-
also Sal's probably got Q too. The 2 of them have very good vocabularies.
They do, right?
Actually, Murr does too. I'm probably not the. I'm
Yeah,
probably the
Georgetown.
least.
Yeah,
Georgetown gets it.
Yeah, you're more a numbers guy.
I'm more a numbers guy.
Yeah, more a numbers
about
guy
numbers and people
and
skills.
physical guy.
Numbers, people skills.
You'll act it out. They talk, you'll act it out.
it's good.
They tell
Be a
you.
cockatiel. What's a cockatiel? Is it a bird?
You show. You're more
I'm
of a show guy.
Yeah,
They're to
I'm a
tell you.
peacock.
Yeah,
I go in fourth.
Yeah.
Throw the feathers.
But you and Sal hit the heart. Why?
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 Yeah,
Yeah,
hit
that's
that
why. There's a couple words that really give it away. Like why?
Yeah. I also make up a lot of terms too. Or like, I use like a lot of Italian slang that I grew up with.
Yeah.
Like, you scarol for money. I'm like,
Yeah.
where's my scarol to sound? It's like, what's scarol? I'm like, it's escarole. It's a green vegetable. Just give me my money. Like you had to explain it.
Do you do sister's ass or no? That's a big Italian, right? Your sister's
Your
ass when you
sister's
stub your
ass.
tongue.
Oh, your sister's
yeah, your
ass.
sister's ass.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, your sister's ass.
Yeah, for
Now Christmas time, I just love this I saw this on Styles' Instagram. Do you still do the tradition every year where you go over his house, just eat all his food, and then bounce?
Every year.
Every single year since you've been friends.
Every year we do it. Every year I go to his house. I pop in, say hi to his family. I don't tell him I'm coming.
Right.
So I never confirm or
Right.
deny that I'm going to show up.
Right.
I'll walk in my pajamas.
You're like Santa Claus
I am.
almost.
I'll have a cannoli. I'll kiss his nieces. Yeah, I like the reverse Santa Claus. I'm an Italian Santa Claus. I take a gift and I take a cannoli. I go to his house every year. Yeah, I've been doing it. I've probably been doing it since. It's got to be 20 years almost.
That's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah.
So is it a specific time, or you keep them off balance?
No, I keep him off balance. Like I've showed up because his family goes all night.
Yeah.
His family did a cool thing where they would go to put the kids to sleep.
Yeah.
Santa would show up and they wake the kids up. I'd be like, Santa just came, and they do like a 2 a.m. gift thing.
Oh wow.
So it'd be like kind of thing. So they would all wait till all the kids fell asleep. They had to wait till all the kids fell asleep, set everything up, then wake them up. So I knew they would go to 2, 3 in the morning. So I had a window, and I'd pop by Uncle Nino's when I'm not in Staten Island anymore. I'd pop by Uncle Nino's. Have some fish salad from Aunt Linda,
Right.
And then pop over there and get myself over at Sal's and pop and say goodnight.
Yeah, I mean, you're the only fucking guys who've done Madison Square Garden who is saying I'm also popping by my Uncle Nino's. Those two things don't usually go together. Like, oh man, yeah, before I go do MSG, I gotta go pop by Uncle Nino's, have some fish salad.
Dude, I was late today because I had to do career day at my daughter's school.
Yeah.
I went and talked about what it's like to be a comedian to a bunch of second graders. The guy yesterday, not even kidding, neurosurgeon. Neurosurgeon was yesterday. This guy's father came in who talked about the Bagul Abdallah, whatever the hell's up there, right? Talking to these kids about that. I'm up there and I'm like, knock, knock.
You're basically going, hey kids, I kind of do what you do.
Pretty much grown up you that people give me money to do it.
I just kind of play with my friends.
Yeah, that's really
you know,
much
you
it.
guys get in trouble. That's what I get paid for.
I get paid for that. The
with
more
my
trouble
friends.
I get into, the more I make.
And now, so it's interesting. You guys known each other all these years, and then you got families. You started, and you still kind of maintained a friendship through all that.
Yeah, it gets harder. Like it's tough for sure, especially like we were just talking about Christmas. Like I had to put together my daughter's dollhouse, and then I'm like the Barbie dream house is a son of a bitch, and I didn't get out of my house till like 1 o'clock, and I'm looking at the clock. I'm like, it's 1 o'clock. I'm living in Long Island, and I'm like, I gotta go, and I gotta go. I was laying in bed. I was like, I gotta go.
How long have you been on the island?
I've been on the island 6 years.
So
I went from Staten to Manhattan to
Island hopped. Yeah. You're not comfortable unless you're on island. I mean, Long Island is technically it's an island because it's part of Brooklyn and Queens.
Yep.
But Long Island itself, the traffic kind of acts like another body of water.
It does.
Keeps the culture
It's
in.
its own bridge, yeah.
Now, I asked that question because every Christmas, like, were you never discouraged by the Belt Parkway?
I was. You gotta
Going
go
to
at the right
Sal's?
time.
I mean,
coming back is tougher.
Yeah.
Getting to the islands is hard. A lot of people going out to their in-laws on the island.
Yeah. And you're just there trying to keep...
I'm going in, they're going on. In and on. I'm all right. If they're going on the island to Long Island, I'm going in.
Did you ever get tempted to break tradition because of the traffic? Were you like, fuck this? I'll just...
Never
Let me just FaceTime them and say I'm here.
Never because of the traffic. It was only because because of the time.
Right.
The time most of the time was like, it's tight right now. But
Is this something that you intend on continuing to do?
I think we're done.
You think you're done with it?
Yeah, I can't forgive Sal for what he's done to me. No, I'm kidding. I love it. Imagine right here, I'm like, he's dead to
I'll
me.
be like, wow, that took a turn. Yeah.
I hope he rots in hell. I mean, I would love to, to do it. The hardest thing now is like I have the kids. I have a 5-year-old and 7-year-old. They wake up for Santa.
Yeah.
They're waking up at 6 o'clock. I gotta be up and I gotta be present for it.
Yeah.
So every pun intended.
Yeah.
So I gotta do that. So that's the only challenge. But
That would be funny if you're touring or whatever. Like you're overseas and you're just like, it's Christmas and you're like, you got to show the next day. You're like, look, I gotta go to Staten Island and say hello to Sal.
we talk about like if I'm in, like I get locked up, right?
Yeah.
Like if I'm on like I'm down in Mexico, I get into some shit, and I get locked into a Mexican prison, and it's like it's 12:22, and I'm like I got 3 days to make it to Staten Island.
Yeah, that would be a fucking great movie.
Great movie.
That would be a
Great
fucking
movie.
great
Let's do it.
movie.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
You be in it.
let's make it. Yeah, I'll play a fucking Mexican guy or a Mexican girl.
There you go.
Yeah, that would be a great movie.
It's a great movie, right?
Yeah, like you got to break out.
It's like get him to the Greek.
Yeah, get him to the Greek. Except you're coming.
Get him to the island.
Get him to the South. Yeah, to the island. Yeah. Do you think there's a possibility Sal will ever be stripped off the island, or is he like Staten Island Velcro? He's just
Roots.
he just can't. He loves Staten Island.
Him and Q. No way ever.
They just stand.
Yeah, Murray ended up to Jersey. He made the left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, his glasses made it out of Staten Island before anybody else. Yeah. He got his Soho glasses, Georgetown.
Yeah,
Yeah.
enough. Yeah.
He was
got
out.
his turtle shell.
Yeah.
Yeah. We get it, buddy.
Yeah, he was the guy he was kind of working for the production company, right? And then he was like part of your group, and he was kind of the bridge that got you guys into True TV.
Yeah, he did. He was pitching shows, and he had heard, word on the street that people were looking for a prank show.
Yeah.
He's like, "What's our version of it?" And it was like, "Well, we just mess with each other." Like,
right.
I
heard was the meeting like you guys just figured out what the show was going to be like in the room before?
No, we eating sandwiches in my apartment. Me and Murray lived together, so we were having sandwiches at the apartment. And then when we shot a sales tape, which on our cell phones, and we showed it to them, and we showed it to the woman Marissa who was working there, She lost it, hysterical laughing. Said, "Well, wait right here." And went and got 12 employees. She said, "I just have to make sure I'm not insane that I want to buy this right now."
Right.
And made everybody watch it again. She watched it again. I was like, "This is never good because it's not going to be as good." Still crushed and loved it.
must have felt
and then
good.
she said, "Go ahead and let's do it." And then it got a bidding war between them and MTV. But MTV wanted to recast this and make it a strip show, meaning one show a day. 5, because that's when they were doing a lot of their strip shows.
Right.
5 episodes.
Oh, so they looked at you guys and they were like, we need somebody younger,
Like,
hotter.
so it was great. You guys just, we need abs, not flabs. Let's go.
Right.
What are we going to do here? But so we were a little out of the demo. We were funny, though. They loved it, and the thing. But they're like, oh, it'd be fun if they tried. But then they tried their own stab at it.
Didn't work.
No.
Yeah, because you're right. It really is. It is about the friendship, and that's what makes the show great.
Yeah,
it's like
fun.
It's like you guys, like it's genuine. You can't be genuine.
Yeah.
You can't be genuine. It's
You know what
hardest
it
to
is, too?
sell, but you can't beat it.
No, you know what too is how to make your friends funny, right? You know how to tee up your friends. The bump set spike is half that show, right? It's like, what's he going to do great here? Let me do this. I'm not going to try to make somebody do something I think they're going to fail, or that something that Sal could do better than Murr, or I could do better than somebody. You know people's wheelhouses. You stick to them, and you make them shine. I think that's a big part of it too. You want to see your friends be funny, as opposed to. You don't want to watch your friends flop on national television in high definition.
Right.
You know what we look like.
But that speaks to you guys, though, because a lot of people would, their egos would get the better of them. They'd be like, I'm the most popular Joker. But that didn't seem to happen with you guys.
Really happened to us. It's so funny because everybody we met, everybody had a different favorite. Everybody, like we met, one of my favorite stories, we do the meet and greets after the show, right? After the live show. A grandmother, a mother, and a daughter come back, 3 different generations. All 3 of them have different moments they like, all have 3 different favorites, all love the show and watch it together. Yeah. I was like, you don't get that,
Yeah,
And I grew up on that. Like, I grew up watching TV with my father. I love that. Like, I love being that for people.
Yeah.
I think that's the co-viewing thing. Yeah. I don't think anybody thought we were going to be that show. Like, we were on True TV at 10 p.m. in between 2 tow truck shows.
Right.
That was our first season.
Right.
We're between South Beach Tow and the Tow Monsters, whatever the hell it was called, right? The two shows, and we're in the middle. We're a comedy,
right,
between these 2 reality shows. They didn't even, and we took off, and they were like, oh, and they redefined the whole network to be a comedy network because of the success on that.
Yeah, and I could see they catch you guys like, oh, you guys are a reflection of the demo, male, this age, a little older, but you guys got everybody.
It's going to be that, blah, 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 and then all of a sudden we started.
Everybody
I remember the first time we started the tour. We do our tour, and it's like an 8-year-old girl in the audience. She's like, I love you guys. We're like, is this girl? Like, what is she doing here? How do you know what our show is? I watch with my parents. Like, it's crazy. Yeah.
Was it a dream of yours? Was it something you saw that you wanted? Because you were a guy who had so many Plan Bs going. I mean, you're selling baby stuff. I mean, you got your accounting degree. Was this like? You obviously went all in when you were forced to. When you had to. But was this like a dream, or did you kind of feel like you fell into it?
Always on the side. Always loved it.
Yeah.
Always had a passion for it. Never thought it would pay the bills. Always was like wanted to be a businessman. Always loved sales. Salesman. I love sales.
But you guys loved making the sketches on the side. You just were going to do that.
I loved doing it. And then I fell in love with editing.
Yeah.
I love to edit. I fell in love with filmmaking. I did a couple short films. I love that. And I always wanted to be a director. I always loved movies. And then I was like, that was why I got into the business. I moved to LA in 2003.
Right.
When we were doing the stand-ups, I was like, guys, I'm taking a shot. And I went to LA from 2003 to 2005.
Oh, wow.
And I lived out there for 2 years. And I worked at Nordstrom. And, and I sold pants to the stars.
Dude, how fucking fun. Imagine you were a guy who recognized him from Nordstrom.
Yeah.
You're like, dude, you guy told me where the shoe section was?
Yeah.
Now you're doing the O2
Crazy.
Arena?
Flip of that is I used to sell pants. I sold pants to Vince Vaughn. And then we end up doing the Nashville Comedy Festival, which he helped put together. And we're having lunch with him. I was like, I don't want to brag, but I sold you a pair of jeans. And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I was like, you were at Nordstrom. I was like, I couldn't even breathe. I was so nervous because you're one of my idols. You're hysterical. I was like, but you're welcome. I found your pair of jeans that fit your fucking tall ass. I found out the 36 inch we needed. Yeah.
Yeah. How did the movie happened right before COVID? That was
we were the last.
It was
movie
wild.
That got released before COVID. So we had 3 weeks in the theaters, and then the world shut down. And it was so funny because like a year and a half later, you still had movie. We make the joke that we're the longest running movie in history because it was still on marquees that said Impractical Jokers movie a year and a half later because all the businesses closed. Yeah. Well, they were all closed, So like, guys, we're still playing over at the Regal in Cincinnati,
I mean, it was like right after, right? Like it was. When was that premiere?
It premiered February.
Oh, it was like right there. Yeah, it was like a couple weeks after COVID happened, and it was just
it was
like
February 11th, 15th. That was a crazy experience. That was really fun to do, and I really got to dive in. And Chris Henchy was our director, and he really made room for me to help dive in and make some decisions and help. And then with the edit and stuff, it was great.
Yeah. So now you want to do like some directing. You're directing Steve Burns special.
Steve Burns special. Yeah. I got a screenplay I'm out shopping. that's a really funny action comedy. It's funny because when you focus on one thing for so long, right? Yeah. So once I realized that I had time, it's like just the kettle exploded. And, you know, I came up with a bunch of TV ideas, movie ideas. I wrote a kid's book. I did like just so much stuff. It was like just I didn't have time. I was just so laser focused on one thing. So.
And what's it like now? You're divorced now? No secret. Yeah. So you got kids.
Yep.
Are you just gonna like stay away from dating, or what are you gonna do?
Stay away for sure for now.
Yeah.
I mean, I got no time for that. I'm still trying to figure out.
You can't just go on a dating app. I mean, you know, you go on a dating app, people
You're
know who you are.
Yeah. I think I'm already on dating apps. Other guys do that. You know what's funny?
Do you gotta do Raya? Do you do Raya?
I get what's
Raya? Yeah, I would know you. I would figure you would know Raya. Raya's like for celebrities and like, you know, it's a dating app for like
people of note.
Yeah, of note. Yeah,
I'm on basic cable.
Yeah.
Come on, let's take it easy. I'm not Raya worthy. They'd be like, we're good. I do get all the time where people put in their profile pictures, if people like took a picture of me on the street in their app, and they're like, you know, you swipe to their fourth picture, it's me and them on the street. It's like that show, and then people are like, I love that show, and they're using me for clout.
Yeah.
And my nephews have been crushing.
Oh, that's
crushing
good, yeah.
because I'm their uncle.
Yeah.
I get FaceTimes all the time. It's like, Joe, say hi to my friend. It's some some girl they're at college with, and like, oh, I told you he's my uncle. I'm like, go get him, Tiger.
That would be funny if you go on a dating app and then you see a girl, you guys connect, and you're in a picture with her at one of your shows.
Yes.
It's just her and you, and then you guys connect. That would be fun.
It'd be like an Inception moment.
Yeah.
The whole
So
app
what do you
explodes.
do? Like, what do you do now? We're all the same age here, the three of us. You know, you got kids. How many kids you got
I
now?
had two, a 7-year-old girl and a 5-year-old boy.
7-year-old. Yeah. So it's like, do you? What do you do? Do you just like
Homework?
Because now when you have the kids, right? Like but you also have to tour. Like,
Yeah, so it's super amicable with me
Right.
and with their mom. It's been very good. You know, we go do dinner at the house. You know, I go over do dinner. I go over. I pick them up in the morning to take them to school.
Yeah.
Come over do homework.
Oh, that's
stuff like that,
great.
which is good. And you know, when I'm gone, she goes. When I come back home, they're basically with me for the week. So it's like the flip, right? Because I tour Thursday through Sunday or Monday, whatever. And then I'll just grab them and just take them, and they stay at my place. I got bunk beds at my apartment and stuff like that. So, and I've recently just started doing the sleepovers and taking them stuff. So we're slowly acclimating them and stuff. The questions are starting though, like, why don't you live here? It's like, well, sometimes mommy and daddies don't live together. You know, it's like, what do you got to explain divorce to a 7-year-old? It's like hard. Like I don't know.
probably
what
go
to do.
there and go, Dad, what's God? Like, does this guy know it? Does he have any answers?
What's God? Why are you living? I'm like, yeah, but I can tell you what pasta fazool is. Like, yeah, you know.
Do you just distract them and bring them pastries? Just go, here,
No,
guys.
my kids love a pastry. My kids are sweet tooths, man.
Yeah.
They are. Dessert is. We can't go to bed yet. We hadn't had dessert. Like,
Yeah.
that's it. I am very conscious of not being that father that's competing though. Like we are both very good at that. Thank God of being like, there's rules at my house.
Yeah.
There's rules when you're with me, and I would arguably say the rules are like I came from a pretty strict upbringing. You know, like you do your homework. You don't play till you do your homework. I don't care. You know, I don't care what's going on. I don't know. You know, I'm only going to see you for 2 hours, but you know, a half hour of that is us doing your homework. You know.
Yeah. Did your kids love the show? Did they watch the show a lot?
My daughter, not really, because my daughter does now. My daughter loves telling everybody that her father's an Impractical Joker. But she'll watch. She'd seen little skits of it. You know, like she's seen me be the genie and you know things like that. And she'd seen some stuff, and she was like, "That's me breaking the tables with my body. Anything that's funny, you know, that stuff translates."
Yeah.
My nieces and nephews really saw me. You know, I have nieces ranging from 20, he's oldest, he's 23, up to a pair of twins who are 18 and in freshman year of college, and a bunch of them there. So they really saw me come up and came to live shows. I brought them on stage at MSG. My daughter's actually been on stage with me at MSG and Radio City.
That's
I worked out
amazing.
with her, but she was a baby. But
Yeah.
I still tell her she played MSG.
Well, when she sees that later, that's gonna be like, wow.
Yeah.
She's gonna be.
I'm surprising her, which is fun because like she loves that aspect of it. She loves to see daddy getting cheered for. She loves watching me make people laugh. Like I see her beaming. Like she does. I did some shows out on Long Island at the Paramount Theater.
Yeah.
Which is phenomenal. I love that place.
Yeah.
I did 4 shows there. It was great. The island was very good to me. And they came, and at the end, they would come out to the top, and she would just sit there beaming. But I could see them because the way that was lit, I could see them watching me, and they were up on the glass. You know, we had the owner's booth up there that they gave us for the family, whatever, and they were up on the glass just watching me. And the way the light was hitting them, I could just see them like smiling at me. Right? It was so distracting, but so cute at the same time. And then my son got really tired, and I see him pacing, like, "Is this over? Like, come on, wrap it up," like one of those kind of thing. Yeah, but I'm surprising her. I'm taking her to Cincinnati. I got to fly back for a daddy and me breakfast. I'm playing Baltimore. I'm going to come back to a daddy and me breakfast at the school, but then I'm taking her with me to Cincinnati. I'm surprising her.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Just
Well,
me and her,
unless
which
she
will be
watches
fun.
this show, and then it won't be a surprise.
You're
as
right.
well.
She's a big subscriber. We should beat that out. Guys, do me a favor. Edit that out.
Yeah.
Also, I'm Joe Gatto. Thanks for joining us.
What's it like to be famous? Like, you guys are famous. Like, you
You're
walk
famous.
around. No, I'm
People,
not.
you get recognized from that Tom's commercial all the time.
Oh, the Tom's. Yeah,
Yeah,
very
the Tom's
tough.
commercial.
Do you guys were involved in that somehow or so?
My cousin, Mike Polano, played the host of that.
That's right.
Yeah, he played the host of that.
Nice guy.
He's great. He's a great dude.
Yeah.
He's had nothing but nice things to say about you. He was super excited I was coming. He was
Yeah.
like, gotta tell him, see if he remembers the Tom's commercial.
I
was
do
like,
remember
sure
the
he
Tom's
does.
commercial,
Yeah,
of
you were
course.
very funny in it.
Yeah, it was fun. But like, yeah, I mean, like, when are you in the neighborhood? And like, has everyone calmed down now? I mean, how many
Yeah.
how many cakes were brought to your door?
A lot. No,
A lot of pastries.
you don't
Welcome
do
to
that
the
there. A lot
neighborhood.
of neighborhood people leave you alone there, which is nice. But the school,
Long Island is very much like that.
very much.
Yeah.
The school was weird. Like I go to the PTO meetings on Zoom.
Yeah.
And you see like I'll pop on and I'm sitting there and then all of a sudden everybody's cameras start turning on.
Yeah.
And you see them being like.
They're like, are we on the show right now?
Yeah,
Like, what's going
people,
on?
I get that a lot too. People are like, "Oh, you're not." I tell a story all the time. I was in Target and I couldn't find the paper towels and I was in a rush. So I said to the woman working there, and she's at the other end of the aisle. I'm like, "Excuse me, where are the paper towels?" And she goes, "Oh no, you're not getting me." And she starts walking. So I start walking on the other end of the aisle. I'm like, "Excuse me," and we're stopping every aisle. I'm like, she picks up pace. She's like, "No, I know you." I'm like, "Where the fuck are the paper towels? Like, just help me out. I need paper towels."
Yeah, because they that's the context when they know you from.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, is
He's
this
messing with
happening
me.
right now?
My kids. It's,
That's another funny thing. It's like, that would be another funny thing. I mean, we're thinking of ideas here. That'd be a funny thing is like you trying to live your life,
Right.
and people just keep it thinking it's the show, and you're going, I just want a fucking cup of coffee.
I use it to my benefit too. The flip of that is when I don't want to talk to somebody or somebody's coming up hot, I go, "We're filming," and they're like,
Go
and they walk away. Like that's a good way to get rid of people. I pretend I have a earpiece.
Yeah.
Right? It's really funny. The only part of the fame I love the famous part. It's what you do, but when stuff happens in your life, it's all in the public eye, which is hard to handle, and people. There's an entitlement that comes to that. People feel like they deserve answers, and it's like, I'm going through some personal stuff. It's not your business.
Yeah,
kind of
I
thing.
hate that.
Yeah, I know. It's part, and people
I
are
hate
like that.
that.
And
Yeah.
it's turned me away from it. Like, I don't know if I used to be like that, but like, I turn a blind eye to like all celeb drama, like and all that stuff. I don't even pay attention to any of it because it's like, it's nobody's business, even though they're in the public eye, right? But they're making a movie playing a character, and that's who you know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of
Yeah, and yours is just kind of run of the mill, happens to everybody. Like people just kind of like,
happen,
marriage
right?
happens and then people grow apart, whatever happens. It's not a big deal. I mean, I don't think you got anything to worry about. As long as you're not saying that the Jews run the banks, I think you're going to be fine. I think everyone's attention is on something else right now.
Right, for sure. But I think that, the only time it gets a little bit is when you're trying to be a dad. Like when I'm at like Disneyland and I'm with my daughter and I'm just having a moment. And somebody's like, can we take a picture? And like I'm talking to I'm watching my daughter's excitement or my son's excitement about something.
Right.
And that gets robbed from me. Like that's when I get really Italian. Like I get really like.
Yeah.
No, like get the, I'm not right now. And then if people
That's
like
not
push,
how you get. Come
if
on,
people
you said
push,
really
it's-
Italian.
It's what'd you say?
I think you're watering it down. You're not on True TV. Tell me what you say. Get the fuck out of here! I'm with my kids. You fucking piece of shit.
That's the second one.
Yeah.
That's the second one. I have called people a piece of
The
shit.
fuck outta
I
here.
have called people a piece of shit and flipped them off, and that's a true story. We'll get to it later. But the first one is always just stern, no smile.
Yeah.
And most people get it.
Yeah.
But then there's some people that don't.
Yeah.
And that's when I really get. That's
Yeah.
when I get really like you're taking memory away from me and my kid. Like that's not cool. So but that's the only time. But everything else, I love it. I it's not lost on me the impact I have on people. I hear all the time, you got me through this, we did this, blah blah, and that's why we do it, right? That's why we entertain. We want people to. You're on stage making people laugh to forget how shitty their life is. That's why you do it.
Yeah.
So you don't lose that part of it.
Yeah. I'm trying to think like if I had a problem with any of the four of you, I think I'd be most scared of you.
For sure.
I think you're the one. I think there's another side. I think you're the guy.
Yeah, I'm a Gemini.
I think you're the guy.
No, I
that-
mean-
you'll get it back quick.
I will say when we were on the road
Yeah.
and the people are coming up to take pictures with us
Yeah.
and the way that they interact with each of us is very funny to watch. Like Murray would get picked up. They'd be like, yeah, put in a headlock and stuff. Sally would be like, look at you, you're scared, blah, blah, blah. And me and Q would be a different vibe.
Yeah.
It'd be like, hey, Brian, how are you?
Yeah.
And they'd be like, Joe, can we approach you, sir? Like, a little bit. Because people know I'm crazy. Like that's my persona. Like I'm Ubats, I
Yeah.
get out there and do my thing. So I think people are a little bit on edge around me a little bit.
Yeah.
You know?
Ubats, what does Ubats mean?
Crazy.
Oh, Ubats. Do you speak Italian?
No, just the curse words.
Just
my
the
mom
curse
used to
words,
yell at me. No, just the slang, really.
Yeah, Jesse's Italian too.
Yeah?
Half, yeah.
Half? What's the
Yeah.
other half?
Jewish.
All right, there you
Yeah.
go. Great.
Yeah.
Pizza bagel.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice.
Yeah, his dad grew up in Bensonhurst, and it's funny. Italians are very funny, and they take. It is true that they take like your worst quality and then make it like your nickname.
Yeah,
which is funny.
Yeah.
And
Or the flip, right? They call the fat guy Slim.
yeah,
Yeah. The short guy's too tall. Yeah. Of course.
they just fuck with you a little bit, and the fun. I think about it. It makes me happy because it's just so funny. It's a sneaky funny. But Jesse's father, one of the friends that he grew up with in Bensonhurst, he was nicknamed Vinny the Mole.
Lenny
the Mole. I'm sorry, Lenny the Mole.
Lenny the Mole.
Because he never came out of his house before 5 p.m., which is like very inventive too. That's like inventive.
It's not like you had a mole.
Yeah, no, it's like
Lenny
Vinny the Mole.
Mole.
He would come out, hey guys, what's going on? Oh, it's 5 o'clock. There's fucking Lenny
You
the
set
Mole.
your watch by it, right? Yeah.
You're in the house till
must
5
be
o'clock,
fun.
you fucking mole. What are you doing?
If he came out before that, it's like, who died? What happened? What's the matter? Something's wrong in the neighborhood.
So we'll end up just like the pod, man. So how much are you enjoying the pod with Steve?
So much more
And
than
you
I
guys
thought,
were
yeah.
friends before too?
Yes, me and Steve know each other. You know, he toured with us actually in London when we did one of the London tours. He opened for us. He's great. And I know him before that. He actually had the show Sullivan and Son on TBS, which is a sister network to True. So we met him through a lot of the like events they were at and whatnot. Sal knew a bunch of them through comedy, and then we just hung out and clicked.
Yeah.
And his mind was blown the first time we hung out. I don't drink. I've never been drunk, tried a cigarette or a drug in my life, but I'm absolutely crazy on.
That's
on the
why I'm
dance floor,
scared of you.
know?
Yeah, I know. You're
You see me on the dance floor.
Yeah,
you know what it's
you're
like.
sober. Yeah.
Yeah. So the first time he saw me, he said to Sal, he's like, this guy's great. He's like, oh, he's got to be the best to go out drinking with. And Sal's like, oh no, he's dead sober.
Yeah.
It was like 3 a.m. and I had my shirt off. I was dry humping a wall, just like staring at it. And he's like, what? He's like, yeah, he doesn't drink. And Steve came over. He's like, you're sober right now? He's like, yeah. He's like, oh my God, I got to be friends with you. And then we just like clicked and, hit it off because Steve is a party guy. He likes to make sure everybody's having a good time. Same as me. And then we started the podcast. We always wanted to work together in some capacity. When my schedule opened up, we started talking about podcast, and our first podcast was actually called Yin Yang Parmesan. It was just us talking. We couldn't find it. Then we found our format with Two Cool Moms, and we really enjoyed that.
Two cool moms.
Two Cool Moms. Yeah, we just did our like 35th episode, so we've been doing it for a minute, and it's been a lot of fun.
35. That's
You get over the hump of 20, right? That's what they
I
say.
think it's like I think it takes a while.
Yeah.
You guys probably.
No, I mean to mean that you're going to keep doing it, right?
Yeah, I think more than that.
Yeah.
I think more than that. Yeah, I think you guys. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You guys are good friends as long as you're having fun.
That's all it's about.
And yeah.
and the time flies when you're talking.
Yeah, so then you know it's the right. It's gonna you'll keep doing it.
Yeah.
You're having a good time. But yeah, I mean, podcast,
It's hard because he lives in Nashville, so we try to do it. But we tour together. He comes with me on the road, so sometimes we try to line it up that way. Or I'm going through Nashville, so I'll stop in Nashville. He always comes to New York. So.
Right. You guys could always bang them out like
We
4 at a
do
time or whatever.
3 or 4 at a time. Yeah,
Yeah.
we film in Manhattan at a studio.
Nice. So
We don't have something as fancy as this.
Yeah, no, yeah. Oh, I got a new bathroom now.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, it was that's the only reason I was worried about nuclear war. I'm like, I'm just got my bathroom renovated. I hope it doesn't.
Guys,
guys, Putin, can you just chill?
Put it away. Look at this marble.
So Two Cool Moms, check it out. Catch Joe on tour.
Yeah, Joe Gatto officials got all my tour dates.
Thank you so much for doing this,
This has
man.
been fantastic, man.
This
It's such an honor.
And you know what? I mean, that the class of bringing these.
box
And
of
it was
pastry?
a variety
Yeah.
too, which means you picked out.
I did.
You didn't just go like you didn't just go in quick and go give me steak. You were like,
Let
let
me
me give.
only did I pick out, I produced it, and I picked the one I wanted. Give me
yeah.
the second from the top of the scone. I see that one. That one looks good. I did that. You can't squeeze them, but you can see.
Yeah,
And
no.
when you've been eating like I've been eating my whole life, you know.
how important do you think it is to bring something when you go somewhere new?
It's a separation between animal and human. And I'll live and die by that. I will live and die by that. You're an animal. You're Animale if you don't bring a box of pastry. Okay? All right? Next time you come to my house, you know.
I will not come empty-handed.
Yeah, you don't have to come empty-handed. There's a saying. It's like, could you knock or did you use your elbow?
If you use your elbow,
You use your elbow,
whole
you're
side.
carrying something.
Yeah.
But if you couldn't knock, that means you're coming to my house.
So don't be an animal.
Yeah.
Bring something.
Yes, for sure.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming. Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, good. Yeah. You know what? You hang out here. I'm
Yeah,
gonna leave.
yeah. It's yours. This is yours now. What's up, everybody? Want to give a shout out to Wendy Ordonez. Go over to Wendy Zimina Studio. We figured it out. Wendy Zimina Studio right now. Get 10% off her wonderful artwork, hand-painted oil on canvas. portraits. Nice little present to give this Christmas for yourself or somebody else. Put a lot of thought into it. Go check out our artwork at wendyzimenastudio.com. Also, I want to give a shout out to Brooklyn Cannery, brooklyncannery.com. The most delicious natural sodas that are probiotic, 15% off with the promo code Yannis Pappas. They're a delicious refreshment and make a perfect cocktail mixer. No added sugar, low in calories, all natural sweeteners, Brooklyn-based, small business. Love them to death. Love the flavors. Go get them. Also, Longshore Coffee. Has he sent anything? Hey, guy, Steven, give me some Boss Babe. Longshorecoffee.com, promo code FUMES for 15% off at checkout. Go support this small batch coffee roastery from Providence, Rhode Island. The coffee's delicious. I drink it every morning. Nate Linder. Brand awareness, do you need? Do you need better leads? Do you need more online sales? Well, Nate has your back. Go to natelinder.com or Nate_Linder. It's about time you started making some money online, guys. Also, Chris Minetti. Call him at 750-3730 in the Philly, South Jersey area to get your check cash. No questions asked. It's a clean, absolutely clean transaction. Aaron Leaf for the free .art provides artists from Hawaii a place to develop their craft. They host free shows, post music by local artists. Check out that website. It is very freaking cool. I like to peruse it every once in a while. For the free .art. Take a peruse when you're bored. Also, exclusiveautoshipping.com. If you're moving your car anywhere, you know who to call. Exclusiveautoshipping.com. They got discounts for veterans, students, all that shit. Get your free quote right now if you're moving your car anywhere. If you're moving, get a free quote.
It's been a